Killa Kela podcast. KillaKelaOfficial.com.
THTC, the UK's leading ethical streetwear label. Organically grown and ethically built garments from hemp, organic cotton and other sustainable materials. 2019 is their 20th anniversary year. Join me with THTC as a Killa Kela podcast sponsor celebrating music, social activism, hemp and street culture. THTC, eco-fashion redefined since 1999.
Come on, ma, please.
Syringes, fighting this. We love food for just to hit plenty. Oh, look, now, watch them on them brain out. 30 to the follow.
Killa Kela Fortified featuring Patois. Available on all good music platforms now. AG Dentistry. In my line of work, not only does what I do with the mouth get reviewed, it's also my instrument. And it's beyond important to me that my teeth get the professional service they deserve. The AG family provide expert dentistry, whether it's NHS or cosmetic. They're the finest in London. Head over to agdentistry.co.uk for more information on treatments and prices. AG Dentistry.
Beatbox created.
Killa Kela.
And we're here to talk about world music and street culture.
Killa Kela
you ready?
podcast.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Killa Kela podcast. Subscribe, do not sleep, I repeat, do not sleep on my repeat. Coming to you live, you know where. Yeah, central as you need to be, all right. Inside the ride today, we got a bit of a legend in the game. Took a mild hiatus, but then he's back on a strong tip. Reggae finest, Rivah Jordan inside the ride.
Yes, man, Killa Kela's big up, man. Pleasure to be here, you know. Give thanks, man.
So we're lit, we're ready to go and everything. The fuse is lit. Should we
Yeah,
say?
man, we're rolled up. We're good to go, man. We're not playing around. We're serious.
And life's good, yeah? Life's good?
Life has never been better. My father is Jack Radix. He has a song that says, "It don't matter, cause life has never been better. Lost my job, wrecked the car, I've been robbed, so I won't get far. Don't matter. Don't matter."
Who's your pops?
Jack Radix, so he did Twist and Shout in like 1994 with Shaka Demus and Pliers. It went #1. They did Top of the Pops and the Guinness Book of World Records. And
What the fuck are we talking about? I'll tell you, see? Look, podcasts, this is what it's all about, you see?
yeah, man.
These sorts of informations are passed down, you only hear about them in these situations, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, man. So for me, it's like my father's a musician, so I carry on the tradition, you know?
Got your lovely missus inside the ride as well?
Yeah, big up Ramina in the place.
See, this is the family vibes that we like to promote on a podcast right now. So, just to back it up a little bit, your history, your pedigree, the Shoebox is a new tune. It come out like not that long ago.
Yeah, so far, I'm liking the reception, I'm liking how it's going, I'm liking what it's doing, and I'm just liking the vibe of putting out music and being active again, you know, because until you put your stuff out, you just kind of feel...
I know.
Like, yeah.
I know. It's almost like you're filling the shoes of a creative person, but like because you ain't got that stuff popping, you almost if you're rattling a little bit.
You feel like you're shortchanging yourself. You feel like you're doing yourself a disservice, you know? Because anything worth doing is worth doing badly. Maybe you put out your music and the mix wasn't that great, but that might be what takes you to the next level. Maybe your performance wasn't that great, but that might mean someone saw you and saw potential in you. Maybe the promotion wasn't that great. Maybe your distribution wasn't that great, but the more you start to learn is trial and error and you start to see where you can improve. So for me, like, it doesn't make sense sitting down trying to make your song perfect. Practice makes perfect. What is practice? Putting out your song, doing your promotion, going through the process. Trust the process, you know.
I heard something recently. This is word from like some good friends of mine. Is that there's no failures. They call it feedback.
Yeah.
It's the real deal, isn't it?
Yeah. If you ask Tesla said failed 1,000 and something. No, I found out successfully what did not work 1,000 and something times. I never fail.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, I found out what does work successfully. So a lot of the times it's that process, that refining, you know.
The pattern in the journey, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not like it's a over guiding principle. It's not like this process applies specifically to music and musicians. It applies to your life on all different kind of levels. As a footballer, you go out, you play, you watch the tapes, you see where you need to improve. You play, you watch the tapes, you see where you need to improve. If you're marketing, whatever you're doing, there's this process of action, reaction, feedback.
Yeah.
It's life, you know.
I love that sentiment, and it's one that, because obviously, like when you're in your journey, some things really do make that big impact where you think, "Oh, fuck, man, I wish I'd done it a certain way. Or I wish XYZ happened with Den, or so-and-so guy must have done," all these kind of what ifs and stuff. But that's just being precious, ain't it? That's being precious of that particular thing, isn't it?
Most definitely, because what if is just what if.
Yeah.
What is just what is.
Yeah. Are you a spiritual kind of guy?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
Definitely, because that's a aspect of this whole existence. So for you to live in this existence and not be spiritual, I mean, to define spiritual is another thing. Because someone else's definition of spiritual and my definition of spiritual might not be in perfect alignment.
Yeah,
you know? So, yeah.
That's a wider conversation. But I think as artists, like, I don't know whether it's because we've got a lot of time on our hands or whether it's because, there is actually it's worth questioning. But, I think as creatives, we often do get caught in that kind of pondering of humanity, maybe 6 months in advance than anyone else does.
Well, the thing is, like, if you're a creative, the whole thing about being a creative is resonance. You bring things that resonate with you into this dimension. Those things resonate with other people. So if you're not in a position where you have some kind of empathy, some kind of sympathy, some kind of flow of energy going from you back to you, you go in the crowd, yo, when I say hip, you say... So it's that vibe, you know what I mean? Like, there has to be the give and the take.
Do you find like do you plug into certain things when you're writing, for instance, like things that maybe you spiritually value?
Always.
Yeah?
Always. I mean, at first when I started, I just did what I thought was cool until what I was putting out started coming back to me. And then I had to be like, oh, okay.
Oh, give me examples. Give me examples of that.
I just like to think about it like, okay, if you had a gun and you just started firing crazy, and then by the time you look, you clipped a random passerby, and a ricochet broke someone's window, and you don't really know what you're doing with this gun, but you're having a lot of fun. You might be singing about drugs, you might be singing about violence, you might be singing about all these situations that you perceive as cool at the time.
Yeah.
When you actually have to live out these situations and it's like, that never actually happened to me when I rapped about it. Now in hindsight, I see how all of this comes together because I was talking all this and I wasn't living it. And then I was made to live it. Then I have to be more careful about what am I talking about.
Because it becomes a self-fulfilling thing, doesn't it?
Most definitely, because it's just energy. When you have taken energy, put it into a song, and 1,000 people are spinning this same energy that you've created.
Oh my God, yeah. That's such a good point.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
So when you're conscious of what you're putting out now, I'm not just bow, 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 and people are getting hit. I can be... I can calculate. I can be a sniper. I can, you know what I mean? Whereas, and a lot of the times, sometimes when you're just flowing and you're free and you're creating, maybe your song just doesn't have that accuracy. Sometimes sometimes it's like, nah, I need to rewrite that verse. I need to change that lyric. I need to work on the accuracy. I need to work on how I want you to feel. When you listen to the song, I need to work on what I want you to take from the experience of listening to the song, you know?
when I listen to in your vocal alone, there's such an accomplishment to your sound. You know what I mean? Like it feels like that. Not only does it feel like there's heart in it, which is why I asked about the spirituality side of things, but I think with your time in the scene up until maybe like 2014, 2015, it felt like you were constantly developing that. You were developing your voice. You know, your cadence to
I feel like it's still developing.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I've arrived at a place. I don't know if I ever will arrive at a place, because there's so many facets to this thing, you know?
Yeah.
Like, when I first started out, it was just rapping. And I remember guys saying, you ain't really rapping till you've been rapping for 10 years. And I'm like, what are they talking about? I can rap. But then when you hear guys that have that 10-year, that 10,000 hours worth of experience under the belt, and you hear them rap, it's like, yo, that experience, that, like when you see Cristiano now after doing this for 10 years, and you look at the old stuff, now he's just a different type of animal. And it's the same thing with artists, with rappers, you know, it's like once you have that amount of experience, you become something else. For me, I've been rapping since I was like almost 20 years now. I've been creating this style and this sound where I want to be able to rap, I want to be able to do my Jamaican thing, I want to be able to sing, and I want to be able to have an audience accept it.
Yes, and
I've been doing this since 2005. Now I just feel like the market is a lot more ready to receive me, because in 2005 they were like, there's no precedent. When I was in Jamaica, guys were like, no, that's impossible. Only Cartel can do that.
Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, I mean the pressure's on that must be crazy. All right, let's cycle it back, because like back then, when we're talking like 2004, 2005, there was that spike where via the streets, where there was a door opening or two, the Dizzies of the world, Channel U was popping. You were copped by Big Dada at the time, right?
Yeah, that was like 2002.
Right, so it was a little bit earlier than that, yeah. Like this was a very different scene back then. I was a part of it. It was very different.
Most definitely, but everything then was very different, because hindsight is 2020. At the time, we couldn't see what was here. I couldn't see what was there. Now, looking back, I can be like, yo, you were like this close. You could almost feel it. You could almost taste it, but you didn't stay in it long enough to get the rewards.
But at the same time, that wasn't what I was coming to, because I do feel like more than ever, you fall in perfectly to what is missing. Do you know what I'm saying?
Definitely, and I kind of feel that, which is why I feel like I'm in a position where if I'm not bringing what I'm bringing to the table, not only am I doing myself a disservice, but I'm doing a lot of people who I can connect with a disservice, because like I've been to certain seminars and hey, the internet might crucify me or whatever, but when you go to certain financial seminars and stuff, most of the speakers and most of the presenters and most of the are of a certain skin hue. And for me, it's not like I don't connect with them, but I don't necessarily relate with them. Whereas when I see someone who looks more like me, I'm kind of like, okay, I relate with them on a different level. So in terms of messages, like certain people hear certain things so much easier from certain places.
I get that, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do hear what you mean.
There's a certain demographic that the way I deliver things, man, they dig it 100%. But these other people, they don't fuck with it at all.
Even now?
Of course now.
You know what? I had this conversation with Kiko Bun actually. you know Kiko Bun?
Yeah.
That's my don. And but he's like, man, I just wish I was around earlier than now, because like, think because he's definitely like on that like reggae tip, like proper like, rock steady kind of. He loves all that. And the thing was, maybe Fun Loving Criminals time, that kind of era, he would have sat nicely. There was a kind of, but this is the unfortunate thing, particularly with British music. They give you a little door opening, and then they shut it quickly. And that is a real like hard thing to accept sometimes, which has been like a bit of my day as well, to be fair. We want to slap someone up today, I tell you. But, you know, I think there are shutters on a lot of genres, you know, just because of like the way you might rap or the way how you handle yourself, you know, skin hue, things like that.
Well, like, there is and there isn't.
Right.
Because I come from a background of reggae music now. Right now, records are still being broken. Michael Jackson's records and certain people's records, they're still being broken in major popular music, in actual record sales, physical record sales, in streaming numbers, in records are still being broken.
Yeah, for real.
A lot of people are acting like, oh, the records that were set back in these days can never be broken, especially in a particular genre with a particular man of a particular hue and a particular set of dreadlocks. Big up the great Robert Nesta Marley. But everyone kind of acts like, oh, you can't surpass that, you can't do better than that. Understand, Bob Marley did business with major record labels and did proper business. So if Bob Marley sold Diamond making reggae in what, the 70s? Diamond? 10 times platinum? Making reggae
online,
music
nothing.
in the 70s? How are you going to tell me that now in 2020 nobody else can't sell 10 times platinum making proper reggae music? That's BS. But the business is different because the experiences major labels have had with reggae artists leads them to certain conclusions. So on and so forth. The way reggae conducts their business, like if you just look at Jamaica and the size of it, and America and the size of it, the scale and the scope of business is completely different.
Talk to me about Jamaica and the scene over there, because you say it's completely different. Like this is new territory for me, because like I don't know a great deal about the business in Jamaica.
I haven't been to Jamaica in a few years, so I'm not necessarily the best placed person to accurately describe Jamaica and the
But
scene.
you've been around, you know.
But
you know the
I
area.
can describe it as I understand it, which is like, it's incredible.
For real.
The talent out there is incredible. The amount of music coming out of the place is incredible. Like the vibes, the environment, the energy down there, it's crazy. But my first album was called Hustler's World, because for me that was the representation of what I could see and saw in the reggae music business. Wow. Everybody is a hustler. Whereas for me, I like business. So when you have a business, you go to McDonald's, it's a business, you see the picture, Big Mac meal, $4.99, fries and a drink, regular, upgrade, add 50 pence. You know exactly what you're getting, you know exactly how much it costs. It's not like that special to McDonald's, KFC, Subway. We don't have to do this. There's specific ways business operates. Jamaica is like, boy, yeah, I know Rivah Jordan still, so I'm going to give it to her bills. Ramina, she knows he's getting it for her bills, but I can still slap her for 2 bills. Killa Kela don't know nothing about nothing, so I'm taking all a grand off of him.
So they're just
I'm
constantly
taking 2 bags off of him. That's not business. That's a hustle. If a man comes to you and says, I want you to do a show, there's this amount of seats and the ticket price is that amount, and there's a formula that you use to work out your price, that's business. But if the price changes just on the flip of a coin, then that's just weird.
It's a false economy the whole time.
It's just weird.
How did you manage that? How do you process that when your mindset is in that and you're in a place which is governed by the hustle? Like, how do you process that?
For me, it's just like you just have to look and see and understand and start to change and cultivate certain beliefs and do a lot of personal development, read books, gain different information and try to have some different experiences, because just because that has been my experience does not mean that has to always be my experience.
And reflect your output in terms of business.
Yeah, and be the change that I want to see. Yeah. Like when my dad heard, hold on, you link President Brown, You put out music for him. You did your distribution and your little thing. Hold on. President, he got money from you? Your label, Soundkiller's Music, paid out? Like Sony? Like BMG? Like EMI? Like, yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's news.
Wow.
For real.
Hold on, he wasn't the only person that got paid? No, I paid other people too. Just off of what I've been doing on Soundkiller's Music.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just kind of like most of what I was doing, I ain't have no funding. I ain't have no support. I was just making what I knew how to make happen with what I had at my disposal. Being resourceful, like how I come and I see Killa Kela and I say, damn. Yeah, Killa Kela is resourceful. I like what he's doing.
Yeah, we call it resourcefulness, yeah.
Yeah. But it's an ability that you need to cultivate. It's something that we've cultivated over time, being resourceful. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. So if you're not really good at it, start where you are now.
Oh my God, he's so right. You are so right.
For me, like, anywhere you start is beginner.
Yeah. Well, it's like what Bob Marley says, start somewhere, get nowhere. That's just the rules, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's something I've held real tight to my belt. Because, like, no matter how high you get up a ladder, yeah, you're going to drop. But you just got to make sure you land on your feet and you reset. Because although you may argue that you fell off the ladder, no, the ladder's just moving every single year.
Every single day.
And every single day. The fucker's moving. And, yeah, whether it's political, whether it's industrial, whether it's the hustle, whether it's the business, whether it's everything, it's a constant push and pull, isn't it? The whole thing. Always interests me, like, the journey of, like, artists and, like, how certain change of tides reflect the overall operations and the output and how... It's about reacting to that shit, isn't it?
It's about responding.
Yeah.
Because reaction is something happens, I just punched him in the face because I thought he was going to attack me.
Yeah.
That was just my reaction. I didn't really mean to. I didn't actually think about it.
The repercussions become a nightmare.
That was just my reaction. Whereas when I respond, I saw him coming, I thought about it, I took a step out of his way, and I watched him go past me.
Yeah.
Much more appropriate response.
Oh my God, you know. Like the amount of times where, in retrospect, I'm like, oh, you know what, I'm glad it played out the way it did. You know what I mean? It wasn't that, typical story that you hear.
So I want to get back to the point about starting wherever you are, because Shoebox is mostly about financial education, about stacking up money in the shoebox and having financial habits. Oh man, this one's going to be so nice. A lot of people say they're going to wait until a specific day and wait until a specific time. To begin saving, to begin putting the money in the shoebox. Now, if you wait until a specific day or a specific time to go to the gym and do one set of exercises, you can't come out and expect to be having all the guns and be looking blanch. It's a process. You have to start somewhere. So
Piece by piece.
Yeah, like the shoebox thing is about starting somewhere, and I want it to be something where challenge yourself to begin paying yourself, begin saving, start somewhere, put £1 down, put 50p down, just get a savings account, get a cup, get a bottle, get a jar, get a glass, get something. Write something on it, get a few of them, get a method, find something that works for you and just start somewhere.
This is the stuff they don't teach you at school.
No, they don't. You get two types of education. The education they give you and the education you go out and get for yourself. Financial education mostly is the education you go out and get for yourself.
Yes.
Personal development mostly is education you go out and get to yourself. Few people are privileged to have someone package up financial education or package up personal development and give it to them. And the thing about these types of information is, even if you are in a position where someone packages up and wants to give it to you, certain information, you will not receive it until you are ready to go and get it for yourself.
Hell
which
yeah.
is why there's the education someone gives you and the education you get for yourself.
The education is the stuff that the trial and error of life, isn't it?
Yeah, but once you're open to getting the information and to receiving the information, it's all there waiting for you, you know? It's all there.
There's a certain mode in your head, isn't it, where a lot of parts, components are constantly moving with an idea, but then all it takes is that one piece of to the point that the day I fucking had today, you talking about the shoebox right there, is like the last piece of oh yeah. But you know, up until then, it's loads of little ideas that are fucking with you.
Yeah.
You know, like the shoebox. So it's poetic in a way that for your latest tune, you're talking about saving.
Yeah.
It's almost like the reset button of
Yeah.
that's sick.
But like for me, my hiatus going away from music, a lot of it was about getting a solid foundation to step forward on. 1 step forward, 2 steps backward. What's been the difference between then and now is between 2012 and 2015 to print 1,000 copies of Hustler's World at that time, it cost me maybe £1,500 or something. It took me 3 years to save that. 3 years. Like, ouch.
Yeah.
Last year, I made 4K in a month. Granted, I couldn't put all of it in my pocket, but to see it come through my hands is like crazy. To go to the store today and just buy a £1,000 laptop and don't worry about it is, for me, coming from taking 3 years to accumulate that, to have a guy owe me £1,200 and be able to say, you know what? I want to egg down the ends. But I can let it go.
Yeah.
Man, that's different. You know what I mean? And that comes from the knowing that if I say, when I walk past the river every day, I'm going to throw a stone in there. I'm not going to come back tomorrow and say I forgot one last night and throw 2. No, if I forgot tonight, I'm going back tonight to throw my stone before I go to bed, because that is the process. That is the daily practice. And that, for me, it was like a book called The Richest Man in Babylon that gave me that you must pay yourself first. You must get a brickmaker to make bricks. There's certain ways, like the science of getting rich by Wallace Wattles, that says there's specific ways. Wealth is not limited to location. Wealth is not limited to certain people. Wealth is not limited, like blockheads get absolutely rich, complete idiots. Like, all kind of people get rich and all kind of stuff happens to all kind of people, but what the common denominator is, they do things in a certain way. They conduct their business in a certain way, they conduct themselves in a certain way, and this is at the base of their success.
Yeah.
You know, so for me it's kind of been like, I've had so many people say to me, oh, but it's not all about the money. Oh, don't worry about the money. But like, the basic principles that changed first were the values and the perceptions about becoming the type of person that can be consistent about saving money. Becoming the type of person that sees this stuff as important enough. Becoming the type of person that doesn't want to be in certain situations and is disgusted with certain type of lifestyles. Knowing that, okay, you need a change. Whatever that, for me, that was the shoebox. For someone, that might be a fitness journey or a motivational journey. But the thing about finance, none of us can escape it, bro.
Yeah.
No one gets away from it.
And then when people do turn around and they're like, yeah, man, the long game, the bigger picture, you got to keep working. And like, I don't know, I think we all kind of like fall to that a little bit, as creatives especially, or artists. And it's like, hey, you know what? I don't want to do that. Like, why am I the one having to like do all the stopping and starting and like financially having to constantly question myself? I think we all go through that, and then but you've got to unlock the door, right? You've got to be like, no, this is wrong. I've got to make the I've got to make, you know, see the numbers in action, sort of thing, you know.
But yeah, the P is so important.
Yeah.
So important. That's why you gotta stack the pinky in the shoebox.
Yeah, for real.
Like, statistics say, over 50% of the UK population don't have £500 saved. This percent don't have £100 saved.
Yeah.
That percent say they have £250 saved. Like, hold on. You get in trouble. You ain't even got £100 put down somewhere.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. It's like if you get knocked down or something happens to you, you ain't even got anything to cover anything.
A pint costs £5. There's places where a
Right.
pint is more than £5. A coffee is £4.
I swear to God, right? Why do people do that? Like, what's the deal? £5 coffees and shit. Like, and you're telling me that you can't afford. You know what I mean? And I wonder what they're doing. Was it a debit card or something? What are they using? Like, how do they get away with that every day?